In our today's class, we shall study about the applications of eddy currents. We know that eddy currents produces both desirable effects and also undesirable effects. The desirable effects produced by eddy current are made use in the form of applications. Let us study the applications one by one. Now, first application in which I am going to consider is deadbeat galvanometer. Application of eddy current in deadbeat galvanometer. Okay, now I have written one diagram of the galvanometer, moving coil galvanometer. Already we studied about this. MCG means moving coil galvanometer. This moving coil galvanometer consists of a rectangular coil of wire which is going to oscillate between two concave pole pieces. And this rectangular coil, for this rectangular coil, the restoring couple is provided by means of two spiral air springs. So all this we studied while discussing this moving coil galvanometer under the chapter moving charges and magnetism. If you go through the chapter moving charges and magnetism, you will come across the details of this moving coil galvanometer. So this is nothing but soft iron, okay, and this is nothing but coil of wire, copper wire, and this is nothing but air spring, spiral air spring, and this is nothing but aluminum pointer, and this is scale which is used to measure the amount of current that flows through the coil of the galvanometer. Now what happens when we pass the current through the coil? We pass the current through the coil through the spiral air springs. Here the spiral air springs not only provides the restoring torque to the coil but also acts as leads or electric terminals for passing the current. So acts as electric leads or terminals to pass the current into the coil. When we pass the current, we know that the coil deflects like this. That means the coil oscillates. Now when the coil oscillates, the pointer which is connected to the coil will also oscillate over the graduated scale. Now for the coil to come to rest, it takes some time. That means we cannot measure the reading at that instant itself. Quickly measurement cannot be taken over the scale. The reason is when the coil oscillates like this, the pointer also oscillates and it takes some time to come to rest. In order to attain the equilibrium position for the pointer or for the coil, some time is needed. So therefore, what we do means to avoid this oscillation, we wind the copper coil over an aluminum frame. Say for example, if this copper coil is wound over an aluminum frame like this. So this is nothing but aluminum frame. Then when the coil oscillates in the magnetic field whose direction is from north pole to south pole. So the direction of magnetic field is from north pole to south pole. So here also, because of oscillation of the coil after passing the current through it, the magnetic flux linking with the aluminum frame changes. As a result of that, EMF is induced in the aluminum frame and this induced EMF results in the formation of eddy currents. So eddy currents are produced in the aluminum frame. Eddy currents means the circulating current or whirling current. And this eddy current, according to Lenz's law, opposes the oscillation of the coil. So therefore, here what happens means, due to the eddy current, the oscillation of the coil is restricted or it is opposed. Hence, the coil comes to rest immediately and there is no need to wait. No need to wait for the pointer to come to rest. As a result of that, the coil only deflects instead of oscillating. Hence, the pointer comes to rest immediately. Since the oscillation dies out at that instant immediately because of eddy current, we call this as dead beat. Dead beat means oscillations coming to what? Coming to stop, or oscillation dying out immediately because of eddy current. So that is why the term dead beat is given. So this is one of the application of the eddy current. The second application of the eddy current, electromagnetic braking. We know that in case of fast moving trains which moves with a high speed of about 250 km per hour or 300 km per hour like that, it is very difficult to stop such fast moving trains by making use of ordinary braking system. Ordinary braking system means the braking system that is employed in the automobiles like buses, lorries and other vehicles. So the ordinary braking system, what actually it consists of means, so there will be brake shoes made up of odd fiber material or odd leather material. So when these material which are used as a brake shoes to connect or to stop the fast moving trains, then what happens means these brake shoes will tear off immediately, because the brake shoes are not able to withstand this large momentum of the train and also the high speed. So that is why to stop such fast moving trains we make use of electromagnetic braking system. What actually electromagnetic braking system means? Now let us imagine this as a fast moving train. Okay. So this is nothing but the motion of the train. Now this fast moving train carries electromagnets along with them, and these electromagnets are installed in the train, which is just above the rails. Let us consider this as rails. So just above the rails electromagnets are there, which is carried by the train. Whenever we want to stop the train, then when we apply the brake to stop the train, then large current flows through this electromagnet. That means at the time of application of the brake, large current is made to flow through the electromagnets. When large current flows through the electromagnet, the magnetic field is produced by means of electromagnet. Since there is a relative motion between the train and the rail, relative motion means motion of one object with respect to another. So motion of one body with respect to another. So here the train is said to be in motion relative to the fixed rails. So because of relative motion, now the magnetic field or the magnetic flux produced by means of electromagnet, which gets linked up with the rails, that keeps on changing due to relative motion. As a result of this, let us consider this as magnetic flux linking with the rail, which changes due to what? Due to the motion of the train. Now as a result of that, this change in flux linking with the rail induces an EMF in the rail, and this induced EMF in turn produces the eddy currents. Eddy currents in the rails like this. Circulating current, that means current which flows in the form of concentric circles. And according to Lenz's law, the direction of this eddy current is such that it always opposes the change that causes it. Here the eddy current is caused because of relative motion. Therefore, the direction of eddy current should be such that it should be always oppose the change. Oppose the change means this eddy current now applies a retarding force on the train. Retarding force means opposing force to the direction of motion of the train. If the train is moving towards right, now the opposing force will act, or retarding force will act in the opposite direction. As a result of this retarding force, which is produced by means of eddy current, the train slows down and it comes to rest. Since there is no mechanical connection between the rail and the electromagnets, or between the braking system and the rail, no mechanical linkage, mechanical connection. Due to this, what happens means the braking action becomes smooth. If there is some mechanical connection between the braking system and the rail, definitely a large amount of heat is said to be produced. So such large amount of heat here not at all produced. If at all heat is produced, then it will be because of eddy current itself. So hence the braking action becomes smooth by means of this electromagnetic braking system. So this is one of the application of eddy current. Similarly, if I consider the electric brakes in the train, electric brakes also work. Let us consider this as electric brakes. Works on the same principle. Let us imagine these two as the wheels of the train. Okay. So electric brakes and electromagnetic braking system, both are working principle, both are one and the same. Let us explain this also. Here usually what happens, these are the two wheels of the train connected by means of an axle, metallic axle. Now two drums are connected to the wheels. So this is one drum and this is another drum. Okay. So the drums are connected to the wheel. Since the drums are connected to the wheel, the drum will rotate along with the wheel. Say for example, if I imagine this as a drum. Okay. Now if the axle rotates, wheel also rotates. Along with the wheel, this drum also begins to rotate. Look here, this is the axle to which wheel is connected. So the axle along with wheel is rotating, means the drum which is connected to the wheel is also said to be rotating. Now whenever we want to stop the train, when we apply the brake, then what happens means the electromagnets which are just installed or mounted just above the drum, this electromagnet now produces the eddy current in the drum. Okay, like this, because the electromagnet produces magnetic field and that magnetic field links up with the drum. Now since there is a relative motion between the electromagnet and the drum, as you noticed in this case, relative motion between the train and the rail. So here also the electromagnets are fixed, electromagnets are not said to be in motion. Only the wheel, axle and drum are said to be rotating. Due to relative motion between the drum and the electromagnet, the magnetic flux linking with the drum. Let us write here magnetic flux. So the magnetic flux linking with the drum changes. As a result of that, in the drum what happens? Eddy currents are induced. And once again, according to Lenz's law, the direction of eddy current is such that it always opposes the change that causes it. That means if the train is moving like this in the forward direction, the eddy current, so this is nothing but eddy current. Eddy current opposes the motion of the wheels, that means motion of the train. So this is the direction of motion of the train. Then retarding force will be opposite to this. So this will be the retarding force acting on the train. So this is how, by making use of electric brakes, the trains can be stopped. So the similarity here is, here also electromagnets are used, here also electromagnets are used. Here also there is a relative motion between the electromagnet and as well as the rail. Here also there is a relative motion between the electromagnet and the drum. So eddy currents are induced, eddy currents are induced. Direction of eddy current both in this case and also in this case is to oppose the motion of the train according to Lenz's law. So that is why if the train is moving in the forward direction, opposing force or retarding force or braking force acts in the opposite direction. So due to this, the train slows down and it can be stopped at any instant. Now let us study the next application of eddy current. Electric power meter are also known as energy meter. Energy meter. Okay. So this is different from that of this. All the three figures are different one. Let us explain all this one by one. Now this is nothing but the electric power meter or energy meter. What does it mean? See, daily how much of electric power we consume at home or even in industries, how much of electric power, electric energy is consumed. So that can be measured with the help of energy meter or electric power meter. Usually for wherever we make use of electricity, there one electric power meter or energy meter is always installed to measure the amount of electric energy consumed either daily or for 1 month or for about 1 hour. So that can be found out. See, this is one simple diagram of the electric power meter or energy meter. See, it consists of one metallic disc, aluminum metallic disc. So this is nothing but aluminum metallic disc. Let us mention this aluminum metallic disc, and it is bit shiny. So shiny aluminum metallic disc. But this disc is made to rotate with the help of one axle, thin axle, mounted over two supports. These are the two supports over which the disc is mounted with the help of an axle, so that the disc can rotate like this. Now at the top of the disc and also at the bottom of the disc, two coils of copper wire are wound. One coil, this is known as voltage coil, whereas another coil, this one, is known as current coil. So this is nothing but current coil. This power meter now, which consists of shiny aluminum metallic disc, which is able to rotate between two supports with the help of an axle. Two copper coils are wound, and one is at the top of the disc and the other one is at the bottom of the disc. You can notice the coil connections, how the connections are made according to this diagram. Now here AC supply means input, okay, and here load means whatever we connect, whatever we make use daily at home. Say for example, we make use of too many electrical appliances like fan, geyser, televisions, computers. So whatever we make use, that itself is nothing but load. Okay, all this needs electricity. So therefore we consider load in that sense. Suppose if you connect one TV, that will become load. If you connect one geyser, that will become load. Altogether, what are all the electrical appliances we connect or we use daily at home or in any industry? So that is nothing but load. Now just above this, we can notice one meter here. What do we call this as? We call this as cyclometer. What actually cyclometer does? The cyclometer gives the number of rotations made by the aluminum disc. When the disc begins to rotate, then how many revolutions it makes, that can be found out by means of numerical display here. So some digits are displayed here, say for example 0, 0, 5, 8, 9, 3, 4 like this. So this count is nothing but the number of revolutions made by the disc either for 1 minute or for 1 hour, whatever it may be. One end of these two coils, as I explained, connected together, and one end of this coil and one end of this coil, current coil, are connected to what? Connected to load. Now when current is passed through what? Through the coil, magnetic field is produced in both these coils. Now the magnetic field produced by voltage coil lags in pace by about 90 degrees with the magnetic field of current coil. That means whatever magnetic field the voltage coil produces, that used to lag behind the magnetic field produced by the current coil. As a result of the lagging of the magnetic field, between the voltage coil and the current coil by about 90 degree, eddy currents are induced on the surface of this metallic disc. So, eddy currents, nothing but the circulating currents like this. Now, due to the interaction between the eddy current and the magnetic field produced by these two coils, so both the coil produces magnetic field. So, this is nothing but eddy current. Okay. Now, there will be interaction between the eddy current and the magnetic field. See, this is nothing but, let us consider this as the magnetic field lines. Let us not worry about the direction. Let us consider this as the magnetic field. Interaction between magnetic field and the eddy current takes place. As a result of this, a torque acts on this disc. Torque means rotating effect. Torque is nothing but a form of force which makes the body to rotate. So, a torque acts on the disc. Due to this, now the disc starts rotating in one of the direction. Now, the number of rotations made by the disc is indicated by means of numerical display here. So, by measuring the by taking this numerical count into consideration, how much of electric energy is consumed, that can be measured or that can be found out. So, this is how eddy current plays an important role in measuring the amount of electric power that is made use both at houses and as well as in industries. Now, let us take up the next application. So, this is nothing but fifth one. Let us consider induction furnace. Induction furnace. We come across different types of furnace. Electric furnace, chemical furnace. Okay. So, like that, let us consider induction furnace. Induction furnace is a device which is used to melt the metals in the preparation of alloy by making use of eddy current principle or eddy current concept. See, this is nothing but the furnace inside which the metal is placed, metal which is to be melted. So, these are nothing but the metal. Okay. Now, the entire induction coil is surrounded by means of thick coil of copper wire, and the coil will be very, very thick. Now, the two ends of the coil are connected to the AC supply, high frequency AC source. Usually, generally the frequency of AC is 50 Hz, or in some parts of the country it will be 60 Hz, 50 to 60, that's all. But here high frequency AC should be fed through the coil. So, this is nothing but the coil of wire. Now, when high frequency AC is passed through the coil, then what happens means magnetic field is produced. Inside the coil, when once the changing magnetic field is produced, this changing magnetic field always induces an EMF. And this EMF in turn induces the eddy current in the metals. So, eddy currents are induced in the metal like this. These are the eddy currents. And these eddy currents produces large amount of heat. And the heat produced by the eddy current is sufficient to melt the metals. So, this is how the metals are melted in the induction furnace by making use of eddy current. See, the eddy current is produced because of changing magnetic flux. The eddy current which is produced is going to produce the heat in the metal. So, after some time when the metal reaches its melting point because of the eddy current, then the metal starts melting. And this is how the metals are melted in the preparation of alloys. So, this is another application of eddy current. Now, coming to one more application, let us consider that application is nothing but diathermy or, so sixth application, or inductothermy or inductothermy. Okay. What is meant by diathermy or inductothermy? See, it is nothing but a type of treatment in the field of medicine. For some diseases, the treatment should be given by eating the tissues of our body. Since the tissues are deep inside the body, it cannot be provided by means of ordinary method. Okay? So, ordinary way of eating the body is not possible. So, what we do means, the body which is, or the part of the body which is to be treated, to that part some amount of heat should be given. So, usually say for example, to this region of the leg, if treatment is to be given, let us assume this is the region. So, this is the part which is to be treated. So, in this region, what we do means, we keep a device which produces eddy current. Is connected to high frequency AC. So, this is nothing but a device producing eddy current. Okay. Now, this part is to be treated by providing the heat. So, in this region, what we do means, we keep the device and we pass high frequency AC through this. When we pass high frequency AC, what happens means, it is able to produce, this device is able to produce the eddy current like this. Okay. So, these are nothing but eddy currents. And this eddy current produced in this device also produces the heat. Now, the heat produced by this device because of eddy current now flows deep into the body to heat the tissues. Okay. So, this is nothing but the heat which is flowing deep into our body to heat the tissues. When once the tissue gets heated, it becomes very, very soft. So, this is how some treatment will be given by heating the tissues with the help of eddy current, and this type of treatment is nothing but diathermy or inductothermy. We know that eddy current produces certain undesirable effect. One of the undesirable effect is eddy current always opposes the change. That is one of the undesirable effect. And another undesirable effect is nothing but the production of heat. Eddy current always produces considerable amount of heat, where we cannot ignore the amount of heat produced by the eddy current. Now, suppose if you consider the core of the transformer, core of the choke, core of the armature coil of the motor and as well as generator. If these cores are made up of one single metal bar, say for example, here I consider this as the core of the transformer. So, if I consider this as core of transformer, which is made up of one single metal piece having a rectangle cutting at its center like this. So, it has certain thickness, let T be the thickness of the bar, and this is nothing but the area of the bar. So, consider one rectangular bar like this having certain thickness T, which has got an opening, which has got a rectangular cut at the center. Now, if I imagine this as a transformer core, that means if I want to prepare a transformer core by making use of one thick metallic bar like this, by winding the two coils. Usually transformer consists of two coils of wire. So, one coil is known as primary, which is connected to input, that means which is connected to AC, and another coil is nothing but the secondary of the transformer. So, if this is primary, let us write here, if this is primary coil, this will be secondary. Usually secondary coil is connected to a load. RL is the load resistance. Load means whatever we connect to the secondary coil, that itself is known as load. So, the secondary will act as output. Output is obtained from secondary, whereas input is fed to primary. We study about this transformer in the next chapter. So till then, let us know only a little bit about the transformer. Now by winding two coils on this one single iron bar or one single core, and now if I make this to work, then what happens means large amount of heat is produced in the core. That means the core gets heated up too much. Why the core gets heated up too much means because of changing magnetic flux that is produced in the primary, because the current is alternating current. We know that the magnitude of the alternating current changes in every cycle. Because of change in magnitude of the alternating current, the magnetic field or the magnetic flux produced in the primary coil also changes, that induces an EMF in the secondary coil. So this is nothing but mutual induction. Okay, if you pass the current in one coil, an EMF is induced in the other, an EMF is induced in the secondary coil. Now, the change in magnetic flux is going to produce the eddy current on the surface of the core. Look here, I represent the eddy current by means of dotted line, circulating current. So these are nothing but eddy current produced because of changing magnetic field produced in the primary. And this eddy current now eats up the core. So the core gets heated. If the core gets heated too much, then what happens means, so the coil also gets heated up, and as a result of this, the lifetime of the coil gets reduced, or even sometimes the coil may burn off if they get overheated because of eddy current. So this eddy current now, in this case, it is behaving like, or it is acting like an undesirable effect, unwanted effect. This heating effect here is unwanted. Now what we do means, to avoid or to minimize, we cannot avoid completely the eddy current, we can minimize the eddy current to some extent. So usually what we do means, whenever we prepare the core of the transformer or the core of the armature or the core of the choke, say for example, look here, this is the choke, two coils are wound, both the coils are in series now. Now the core, this is the core, this core is in the form of thin metallic sheets like this. Look here, this is nothing but the core that is used, thin metallic sheets used as the core in the manufacturing of the transformer, and also in the manufacturing of the coil of the armature. See, this is nothing but the metallic core. Even this metallic core is in the form of thin circular sheets. All the sheets are piled up. That means all the sheets are made in the form of bundle. They are kept one above the other, and they are piled up, and therefore it becomes a laminated core. So this is nothing but the armature of a motor. So even the core of the armature of the motor is said to be laminated. Laminated means where we make use of thin plates like this. Look here, thin plates. Bundle of plates like this is nothing but laminated core. So in the manufacturing of the transformer core, so what we do means, we use a bundle of plates like this, and this is nothing but laminated core. Okay, but here each plate, look here, each plate is insulated. That means some insulating material is coated over the surface of each plate. What is that insulating material? The insulating material may be a varnish, or it may be lacquer. So these are nothing but insulating material. So this plate is coated by means of insulating material, and even this plate is coated by means of insulating material. Now look here, the plates are piled up like this. Now we get two arms. one arm and another arm. To this arm we wind one coil, nothing but secondary, and to this arm we wind another coil, nothing but primary. So a bundle of plates are kept like this. Okay. Now it becomes now a bundle of plates which is nothing but a laminated core. Now what actually happens if we use laminated core instead of using one thick metal bar? If we use laminated core, then because of the insulation between the plates, see, say for example this is plate 1, this is plate 2, plate 3, plate 4, plate 5, like this required number of plates are bundled, which is known as laminated core. So by laminating the core, what happens means now the resistance between the plates increases. That means the resistance between one plate and another plate, between this plate and this plate, the resistance increases. And this resistance increases even because of this insulating material also. When once the resistance increases, the induced EMF, let us write the primary coil. So this is primary coil and this is nothing but secondary coil. Secondary coil. Okay. So this is secondary and this is nothing but primary. So as usually the primary will be connected to AC source, that means input. To the secondary a load is applied, RL. So because of insulation between the plates, the induced EMF decreases. When once the induced EMF decreases, eddy current also decreases. So eddy current gets confined only to what? Only to the plates. So because of this large resistance between the plates, the amount of eddy current induced over the surface of the core, that will decrease, and this decrease of eddy current in turn is going to reduce the amount of heat produced. So as a result of this, the amount of heat produced in the core of the transformer can be reduced. So this is how we can minimize the eddy current, and also we can minimize the amount of heat produced, and we can protect the electrical devices or electrical appliances like the transformer, the chokes, the armature core of the motor, and as well as generator. So the purpose of laminating the core itself is to reduce the eddy current. Okay. Now this is one undesirable effect, and we explained how we are able to overcome from this undesirable effect to some extent. That means how to minimize it, that's all. How to minimize eddy current, but you cannot make eddy current completely zero. Now with this explanation, this entire chapter, that means the chapter 6 is said to be completed. So from next class onwards, we will study a new chapter, that means alternating current, which is a little big chapter. So till then, thank you.